One school, 12 teenage girls, and a very disturbing medical mystery. Uncontrollable twitches and tics developed overnight, and no one knows why. One doctor says it's a stress-induced disorder, but one of the girls and her mother say no way. They want answers and they want help, and they're right here talking about it. Tonight, teen girls, all at the same school and almost all at the same time, develop mysterious Tourette's-like symptoms. What could be the cause of all this? Is it an environmental issue or something else that the young girls have? CNN correspondent Jason Carroll visited the home of one of the girls. Watch this.
Thera Sanchez was a cheerleader, an honor roll student, and as a senior at Leroy Junior High School in upstate New York, well on her way to planning her college future. When she woke up from her nap last October, everything changed.
I couldn't stop stuttering.
The stuttering took over, really contorting on the left side of, with her mouth and her neck.
Doctors told Thera her condition was brought on by stress and she would get better. But once the stuttering ended, it soon gave way to uncontrollable twitching. In all, health officials say 12 girls from Leroy Junior Senior High School have exhibited similar symptoms. The girls were from different grades, and some didn't know each other, but many did, including Thera's friend, Lydia Parker.
Last time I went to the neurologist, they said that they're not sure and that they'll keep looking into it. But besides that, they haven't told anyone anything.
With us is the young woman from the piece we just watched, Thera Sanchez, and her mother, Melissa Phillips. We also have Lydia Parker. She is a friend of Thera's and also suffers from this condition as well. Thank you all for being here, first of all. Now, before we get started, I just want to clarify that apparently the New York State Health Department conducted a 3-month investigation and has officially ruled out environmental factors or infection as the cause of the illness. The Leroy School District also did their own testing, came up with nothing. So let me go to the girls first. We'll keep this conversation going. Thera, how are you doing? This has got to be obviously a distressing thing. How are you?
I'm not good. Not today. Hasn't been for a while. My tics got worse.
And Mom, I understand for a while there they got better. She went back to school, and then they started coming back again. Is that accurate?
Yes. She was able to go to school in October and November. After Thanksgiving, it came back with a vengeance and started with seizures related to the tics, and it's just gone from there. She was hospitalized again in December.
And the girls, I'm sure these symptoms, no matter what has caused them, gets worse when you're anxious, and obviously you're in front of a TV camera now. I want you to breathe deep and kind of let's everybody calm down, and let's try to figure this thing out. You guys feel comfortable? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of the video of Thera in the hospital back in October, not long after she first started having these symptoms. Melissa, after this video was shot, there she is. She, as you said, she got better. She went back to cheerleading. And then we have these symptoms today very similar to what she originally presented with. Is that right?
Yes. And she also now has daily blackouts and seizures with these, where not like epilepsy seizures, but where she's somewhat lucid and can feel all, her body being rigid, and it's almost like she's a stone statue. And she can't move, and she's very weak and tired, and so
Melissa,
it just continues to get new symptoms.
Melissa, this must be very obviously, distressing to have your daughter, suddenly having these mysterious symptoms. What are you hoping that officials do? What are you asking for? How can we help?
All of us need to have more testing done. We need to know that every physical aspect of this has been visited, so we are confident in a diagnosis that we do get from a doctor. We haven't had heavy metal testings done. We haven't had all of these stuff done collectively as a group. Everybody's been treating individually, and they're feeling their assumption that this is just stress and anxiety induced or the conversion disorder. It's not enough. I can't go on by your gut feeling. I need positive reinforcement that this is what this is, especially with
and Lydia,
12
let me
girls
ask-
in such a small community.
Right. Lydia, were you aware that other people, other girls at your school had this condition at the time you developed your symptoms?
I was for a while before I woke up from my nap.
And had you seen them with these tics, or were you aware of the manifestations of what was going on, or had you just heard about it?
I was in school for a little while after it started, but I ended up leaving the last week of October because I didn't feel I could handle school anymore. And my doctors didn't feel I could handle school anymore.
I understand. And Thera, are you back at school now?
No, I'm getting home tutored.
Are other kids supportive of you? How are you feeling? How are you dealing with this emotionally?
Other kids are very supportive of me. It's hard not being able to do what you love. Even going to school, I love going to school. But it's hard that, I think it's even harder knowing that I don't know what's going on. Like, I'd like to be able to answer people if they ask me what's happening.
My understanding, I think do we have, to control and tell me, do we have footage of her on the Today Show? Is that correct? Okay, I'm going to show some footage from the Today Show, NBC's Today Show. Take a look at this, and then I'll talk to you about it, Thera, afterwards.
They told us it was traumatic, but I really don't think any of us had that traumatic of a life before, and that it would randomly happen.
You don't. You're just shaking a little bit, but you have a little bit here and there, but it's not as pronounced as Thera's.
No.
Do you see a similarity though in your symptoms?
Yeah, mine's more advanced, I think, because I've had it longer, but mine's definitely gotten better.
It's gotten better for you. Has it gotten better for you, Thera?
No, it gets worse.
Thera, my understanding is after that interview, they started talking about this being a conversion reaction, and that was distressing and upsetting to you. Can you tell me about that?
I actually really don't understand what that means. No one has told me what it means.
Okay, now, because I asked that because my next segment here, and I think you guys are going to stay with me, I have a psychiatrist who has treated similar groups of women with a conversion-type syndrome. I don't want to upset you. I don't want you to think that I am saying that's what this is. I'm saying I want to look at this, and I want to state this ahead, that you don't contemplate something being a psychiatric condition until you have ruled out all potential biological causes. Think how devastating it would be for these young girls if, in fact, it turned out to be some toxin that's at the, somewhere these girls were all exposed to that caused a little focal damage to some area of the brain, and the whole while being called a conversion reaction until you'd exhausted every possibility. In fact, at the end of the next segment, I want to put a little shout out. If anybody knows anything about movement disorders and potential causes, environmental causes, that they could perhaps help us out, I'll give you a website you can log on